Hello, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are in the world. It's Gabby here from the Journey Together with Claire, and it's our desire today to answer any questions that you may have that are still coming up around the Journey Intensive online. And Claire and I did this a similar thing back in June, just before we went live with the first round of Journey Intensives. And I must honestly admit, we were as nervous as hell because we honestly didn't know how it would work, how it would all come together. Will people get the same out of it as a live event? And well, we are sitting here a little bit later, 3 months later, and it was phenomenal. So we're really speaking from a place of we've been through it. We've actually now offered how many Journey Intensives, Claire? Three
Journey Intensives so far.
Wow. So 3 Journey Intensives all around the world on different time zones. We did them on the European time zone, on the North American time zone, and Australasia. And all the feedback that came from each and every one was really, really amazing. So I'm just trying to, together with Claire, go through some of the questions that we encounter most of the time. Questions that keep coming up over and over. Sometimes these are the same questions that people even have for a live seminar. And if we can do whatever we can to support you to understand better what takes place at our Journey Intensives, then that's the purpose of this session today. And so the first one I think is time commitment. When we recorded the new Journey Intensive with Brandon, she really wanted to deliver the program in very much the same way as it happens in a live seminar, and she has really done an amazing job, and she has achieved that, I really feel, because we go over 2 days. Now, back in June, we offered a 2-week option also, but actually, I think, Claire, how many people, percentage-wise, I think about 85% of the people actually did it over the 2 days rather than the 2 weeks. And from a time commitment, it really goes in. It's diving into the seminar energetically, allowing stuff to come up, clearing it up, clearing it out, and you kind of come out the other end a different person, a new person. So it works. And so we've decided this time we're just going to offer the 2-day option. There will be later in the autumn, there will be a 2-week option. And we're going to run it in such a way that all the time zones around the world can participate in one 2-week seminar. And that's not what we are here to talk about today. You've got something in your eye, Claire, have you?
I have. I'm sorry. My eye is leaking for some reason. I don't know why. I do apologize.
You've got an eyelash smudge. Shall I give you a moment to just kind of sort
Sure,
it out?
thank you.
Okay. So let me get started with some of the questions that come up, and Claire will give me a shout when she's ready again. I think one of the questions that we have so many times is like, I'm a technophobic. I'm not very good at technological stuff. I'm not very good online. How am I going to do a workshop online? And I sometimes fall a little bit in the same category, and it couldn't be easier, because there is one link that you will get, and that one link takes you into a Zoom room. You come into the room in the morning, you keep it on all day long, and once you're in, you're in. So there is really no issue, there is really no problem whatsoever from a techie side. And I'm going to bring Claire back, because I can see that she has stopped crying right now.
I might start crying again a bit later. Who knows?
Now I've got to figure it out how to get the both of us back in the screen. So from a technical side, we do actually also, and I'm going to hand over to you in a moment, Claire, because we also start with a pre-meeting. So if the Journey Intensive is on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday. So on the Thursday before at 7 o'clock for Europe and for South Africa, we have a pre-meeting. And the purpose of the pre-meeting is to familiarize ourselves with the platform, to understand what's needed, what paperwork is needed. So Claire, I'm going to hand over a little bit to you so you can talk about that side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically the whole event happens within the Zoom room. Now, we also have a community site, which is a little bit like our own personal private Facebook area. And it's a place where you can go to find all the materials that you need to download and all the links to the Zoom room quite easily. So once you have registered for the course, you get your email sent and you get invited into this community and into the program there. And within there, as I said, you'll find the link to download all your paperwork that you'll need for the weekend, and you'll find the details of the schedule and the Zoom links that you need to join the meetings when they happen. And as Gabby, as you said, there's a pre-meeting that we have on the Thursday, which is really just, it's just to introduce ourselves to each other, to get familiar, to get comfortable before we actually go into the weekend seminar, so that we all know how to log into Zoom, how, make sure that we've got our papers downloaded, and we do it a couple of days in advance, so you've got plenty of time. And then once you're in the Zoom room, and literally, as you said, Gabby, it's a one click, and you access into the Zoom room. And for those of you who haven't used Zoom before, it's literally like you come into this, you see on your screen all the different people that are participating during the weekend. So it's a beautiful way to connect with other people who are participating also. And then the whole weekend takes place within that Zoom room. So whilst the teaching is happening, whilst Brandon is doing the teaching, that comes on your screen in full. So everyone, and this is what was so lovely that we realized about the Journey Intensive Online, is everyone has a front row seat, because you feel like you're right there with her. So the teaching comes with Brandon, and then we have the live sections with the co-host, which is Gabby for North America, Sharon for Australasia, Lydia for South Africa, and Arnold for Europe. So you have the live section with your co-host, and then you can use the chat box within the Zoom room. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, we go through it on the pre-meeting so that you get familiar with how to do that and how to raise your hand and all the technicalities of how this Zoom room works. And then when it comes time to swap the process with a partner, we use this fabulous facility called breakout rooms within Zoom. And it's kind of like we send you off with your partner into your own private little room within the Zoom platform. And then all you see is you and your other partner. And that's where you swap your emotional journey process and your physical journey process. So it's really, really well facilitated. We have trainers there to support. So if you're in your emotional or your physical journey process and you need some help, you push a button to raise your hand and we send in one of the trainers to come and support you. So we make it really, really simple. It's literally, as I said, you click one button and we take care of the rest for you. So for those of you who are uncertain about using Zoom, please know, tried and tested, and literally as soon as you've got the link, that's all you really need.
Perfect. It is, and I think we were, I mean, if our delegates thought that they were nervous, I think we did much better than them. But on the first event, even Brandon was we were all how's it going? Every half an hour checking in. Yeah. And by the time we came to the third event, it was like going like a piece of cake. And subsequently, we're using Zoom Room for pretty much everything because we have this wonderful membership platform. So if there's anybody here who is not part of this membership platform, there's so much happening. And if Brandon appears live for satsang, if Brandon appears live for a webinar, it's usually done through the Zoom Room. The same with Kevin now. And it's just a great way of connecting with each other, of seeing each other, of actually verbally interacting. And that's really the beautiful side with it's so close to being live in a room together. And with where we are in times right now with regards to live seminars, we still Some of the European countries are still in lockdown. We don't know how lockdown continues as the autumn goes on, where and how the travel restrictions are. I mean, we are in Greece. Kevin, Brandon, Cliff, and myself, we're in Greece, and my granddaughter is supposed to be coming this Friday, and she to this day doesn't know if she can travel, because she's going to uni in mid-September, and she said, I can't afford not to show up in uni, and if the UK starts a quarantine, I would need to go in quarantine for 2 weeks. So I don't want to make a commitment unless I'm 100% sure. And so with this in mind, we really had to look at all of our events. We don't know how social distancing will work out. We don't know face masks. We don't know travel restrictions. And so this is really an alternative, and it works, because I would say that the people who come to our live event were, from a completion point of view, whatever they came for, whatever they brought, either they came with an illness or an intention or a prayer. But I know with almost a great average that between 85 and 90% of the people who come to a live seminar come to completion. That they leave at the weekend shiny-eyed, happy, with a smile from ear to ear. And with the Zoom platform, I got a sense that it was even higher than that. And the reason I can say that is because with these breakout rooms, we've also decided to keep the numbers at a level that everybody can go in a breakout room, so that when you choose a partner, you go to a breakout room. If you get stuck in your process, you just raise your hand, and the platform allows you to do that, and a trainer will come and support you and help you to continue on with the process. So it's quite it's quite amazing the way it all works. So the technical side is really a piece of cake, and we also have the opportunity of communicating with each other on the membership platform. So if for example, I had a lady at the last event, and she said she couldn't get any of the workshops, the worksheets printed, because she was in lockdown. She didn't know if she could use everything on her phone. And you know what? She went through the whole weekend on her phone and she was so nervous. She actually wrote to me 3 days before, and she said, I can't do it. It won't work. And I said, tell me what doesn't work. And I walked her through it, and she did the whole weekend. And she was so happy that she stayed, because she cleared such a big issue. So for anyone, no matter what age you are, I know the younger generation use Zoom a lot. I mean, we have our family meetings on Zoom nowadays, And so for many of us, it's a familiar platform. For some of us, it's new. But whatever it is, it's simple, it's straightforward, and it's very, very uncomplicated. And we have trainers, we have journey practitioners. We've also decided that for these events, we're inviting journey practitioners to support you. So if there is any stuckness anywhere, if there is an issue that really is difficult to kind of get to because it's so deeply buried, we have experienced practitioners who can help. And this is why I can say that the completion rate is higher than a real event, because it is so private, is so personal. You're not in a room, you're not hearing anybody, when we're in a big room, I have to say shh, whisper, and here in this, you are in a room with your partner, and if you need help, you call somebody. So it couldn't be any better, it couldn't be any easier. What other questions, Claire?
There were a couple of other questions. So one was about a fear that doing a journey process won't change anything in the world, and what difference would it make for someone? We're laughing because we hand on heart can both say that it's been life-changing for both of us.
Yeah,
So,
this is why we're still here after 20 plus years, you know.
yeah.
I think the one thing I can say, if your prayer for change, if your prayer for transformation, if your prayer for healing is genuine, there is absolutely nothing in the way. And not only that, but you are learning a set of tools that you take with you, that you use every day in your everyday life. You know, there are so many things that we become familiar with and realize what's important, and not just from our own process work, but with what we realize in the sharing of other people. Beautiful thing is there's a couple of times on the Sunday specifically, where we invite to share what come up for you, and there is obviously privacy and integrity within the group. But we learn so much through our own processes, through other people's processes, and how we go about life, you know, in our everyday situation. And we realize that we can do things more openly, that we can be with our kids more honest, or trust a little bit more, or whatever that is. And we recognize and we realize in our own hurts and pains of childhood how we can bring that forward, how we can support our families, how we can support our children in that. And every time we clear something, it kind of makes us lighter, it makes us easier. There's a question here also that somebody came up with, and well, what if I haven't got a serious illness? Is this for me? It seems that this is for people with depression or cancer or whatever. I didn't have any of that. You know, when I came to the journey, I was just curious. I actually was setting out to do become a homeopath, and I wanted something else in my toolbox. So I came as a therapist. And in my first weekend, I realized that whatever I came for, I really needed to point the light back to me first of all, and started to work on myself rather than try and fix other people or work with other people. And that was the simple truth. And then my own clearing started, and I realized that there was so much that I needed to clear out, so much that I needed to look at. And it was a process, and a beautiful one, because with every time that I cleared something out, I got lighter. It's not just myself, but the people around me. It kind of it lifted and lightened consciousness around all of us in my entire family. My extended family, between me and my husband, even with my mum, who I wasn't living with at the time, you know. So it was just one of those beautiful experiences, and it definitely supported me in my therapy hugely. That there was a much better understanding of how to support other people. So
I think it's really important as well, Gabs, in that, you know, when you come to the Journey Intensive and you've learned the physical journey tools, yes, it takes place over the weekend, but then you have tools for life, and you can continue using those processes in so many different ways with physical issues, headaches that arise, or different issues that may happen within your family that trigger you. So you've got those tools for life. And not only that, but once you've participated in the Journey Intensive, then you become part of what we call, well, you become a Journey grad, as we are Journey Intensive graduates. And then you've got access to a whole other community. We've got regular grad meetings where you can come every single month and continue swapping these journey processes. So it's not just about the weekend necessarily, is it? It's, I mean, we both went on a practitioners program, but which you can choose to do, but you still have these fundamental, these foundational tools to work on a myriad of different issues. And it gives you access to what we call the Journey family. So we're all in this together. And, you know, whenever you meet someone who's a Journey graduate, great, you know, you can swap a process with them. So I think it's really important to know that. And also with our Journey Intensive, even though it is just about the weekend. We do make available the videos for people to watch after the event as well. So once you've immersed yourself and watched the process for the weekend, you still have access to watch those videos for a couple of weeks afterwards, because when you watch them again, something else sinks in and you remember something else, and then you can come along to one of the grad meetings and swap another journey process. So it's, as you said, you know, you keep on clearing out different issues and becoming lighter.
And there is something else here that I was just that was really interesting in the online event, because you actually see the names, so you see pictures of people, you see who you're sharing the room with, you have the names, and you are all part of the membership site. So you can actually, if there is somebody that you feel kind of drawn to, you can say, hey, how about swapping a journey process? You know, you can stay in contact, in connection with each other a long time afterwards, you know, so you don't have to wait for us to kind of do something for you, to put you in touch with everything. And because of this membership platform, what's also so beautiful now is we've actually, with going online with pretty much everything, we have regular Journey graduate meetings at least once a month, in some areas even more often. So it means that everybody who's been through a Journey Intensive can meet once a month on a Zoom platform and swap a process with another person, which is something that we used to do in the olden days, you know, and then it kind of, life just got too fast and it was too complicated and too expensive to travel and to rent a room and do. And now we are back to the simplicity of just coming together in a room and continue this work ongoingly. And that's also very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a question. Have you read it, Claire? I haven't. I've been talking.
Yeah, in the Facebook site, there is a question. I've done a lot of work on myself already. Is this anything new and useful for me?
Yes. You know, this is something I've heard so many times. A dear friend of mine who I won't mention his name, but I've met him for the first time about 4 years ago at a Journey Intensive in Prague, and at that point he was, I think, 50 years old. And we got to know each other a little bit better, and he was sharing with me afterwards that he that he was so obsessed with truth, with enlightenment, and it seemed that it was with him even from childhood. And he kind of joined an enlightened master, an Indian enlightened master, when he was 17. He left home, he traveled India, he did this. It was like he was trying to find enlightenment in a cave, if we want to call it that. And he thought he had. And then he came to a hotel in the center of Prague to a Journey Intensive with Brandon. And he realized that he hadn't experienced anything like that. But the real waking up, the real coming home to himself, the opportunity to clearing out issues happened there. And so when I hear this question, then it's a kind of, I don't know how much you've done, what you've done. And if there are any issues that you still have, even though you've done so much, please come. Because the combination of what Brandon has put together in the Journey Intensive, of opening down through the levels, going into or opening into a realization of self, the real me or truth or grace or God, presence of, whatever you want to call it, is definitely something that I didn't know. I had heard about it, but I didn't realize it could be experienced. I had heard from Deepak Chopra that it's one of the things we need to do in order to grow into maturity happily and healthily. And I just never knew how. And meditation didn't do it. Ayurvedic lifestyle didn't do it. None of what I tried did it. And on the journey intensive, the very first day is what did it. And so I really felt like it's been the holy grail ever since. And I wish the whole wide world would experience this work, because when we do, then the side effect is that we clear out issues from the past. And that is something that is what none of us, or what I didn't expect, of how much I had held, not only from myself, but what I've absorbed from my parents, what I've inherited from my parents and their parents and parents and parents before, which kind of makes us up. And we don't have to be that. We can clear all of that out, and then however we show up in life today is me, is not a makeup of everything, or a watered down version of my grandmother, but it's letting go of all of those, you know. And so it's been an incredible ride. I've been riding this clearing train for a long time, and I'm grateful for each and every journey process that I've ever had, because it just continues, and it's something that it never stops, because life always comes up with new things, like it's done with COVID now, you know. I mean, oh my God, it's just ongoing. So I'm gonna, Claire, can you talk about a little bit about languages? Let me just see, time commitment, because there's a couple of questions here that I just wanted to, that I'm seeing here.
Yeah, sure. So we've got the Journey Intensive Africa taking place this weekend. Will obviously be in English. We've got the Journey Intensive Europe, which is going to be dominantly in English. But then throughout October and November, we've got it available with the Teaching with Brandon. We're going to have it available in, here we go, we've got it available in Estonian, it will be in French, it will be in German, it will be in Czech, Slovak, and then finally in December, it will be available in Hebrew. So those are the current ones that we've got available with Brandon, the Journey Intensives with Brandon, so the teaching from Brandon, and then co-hosted by someone in that specific language. So if you're going to come to one of those events, you need to be able to speak those languages. So plenty of options for people.
Beautiful, thank you. Right, I've just caught up with a few questions that I have here. I've got a lady from Australia, and she said she was at a Journey Intensive in Ballina, and cancer has subsequently progressed, and she's going in for treatment. And she's been on cleanses and diet. Can I still find the way to clear such an advanced disease? My answer is yes. And one of the things that I would like to say here, Mandy, and to everyone, what I have learned over the years is that no two diseases, even if they carry the same label, are the same. And I think sometimes it's about our own experience, our own healing, our own growing from it, if you want to call it that. Because if somebody has, let's just say, if one person has bowel cancer and the next person has bowel cancer, I actually don't believe that they have the same root cause or root issue. And I'd love to tell a story here that I remember from a long time ago, that we had at one event, we had a lady who had advanced cancer, and her biggest issue was she didn't trust medicine. So she didn't connect with the local hospital or her hospital, and she wanted to heal, or she was adamant that she needed to heal naturally. And her cancer continued to get worse. And there was a time when she came together with sorry, my battery is on saver mode, and I'm not quite sure why that is. So anyway, but anyway, I'm going to cure that problem in a moment, hopefully. But one of the things that she had to learn, and she had a private conversation with Brandon, and Brandon said to her, well, perhaps you need to learn a different lesson here. And the lesson that she needed to learn was that she needed to trust the medical profession. And she actually had treatment. She had cancer treatment. She had radiation. She had the cancer taken out. And she healed to such a level. This was, I think, over 20 years ago. She's living in Hawaii and is happily ever after. So she completely healed from everything. But you know, we need to find out what's true for us. And one thing that I have learned with the journey is that we're opening into our truth, not somebody else's truth, a truth where we know what's going on for us. And from here, you make your decisions. You're not making a decision because another therapist or a practitioner tells you what you should be doing. You find out in here, in your center, in your heart, what feels right for you, what you should be doing, and you follow that path. And whenever we do that, whenever we find the courage to trust ourselves, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that the journey is doing that. It's connecting us to our true self, it's connecting us to here, and whatever you follow from here has got to be the right path. So I'm also seeing that Corinne has offered to get in touch with Mandy so that the two can exchange and that she can do process work with her. So wonderful.
Yeah, I would also say, Mandy, to contact the Australian office, give the number a call. If you go onto www.com and find the Australian office and find the number and call. Tina is the lady who's picking up the calls there, and she'll be able to support you in a myriad of ways, if it's finding a practitioner to swap with or joining the grad community to swap with, but she'll be able to give you some contacts to really get you supported there. There's also a message from Mary who says, I love the journey online and the one we came from years ago. Is there financial help? So I'm assuming that you're meaning about either joining the Journey Intensive online. So for anyone who's been to the Journey Intensive before, we offer a reduced rate to come and resit it. But also for anyone who has not done the Journey Intensive before and is struggling financially, if you go to the page at the moment that is showing all the different Journey Intensive, there is a section where you can apply for, we've got a small support fund to support people who are struggling. So if you go on to, I think I'll post the link on the Facebook page so you can find that. But if you go on to that landing page and you'll see the 4 different Journey Intensives that are taking place, have a scroll down, you'll find it somewhere in there, and it says apply. If you're one of these people who's struggling, apply to this scholarship fund, and you can by all means apply, and you'll get financial support to go through the Journey Intensive, because that's the intention, is that people are really supported with these tools, especially at the moment.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, this whatever is going on right now is bringing up our most latent fears, I believe, you know, and and life is doing everything to create separation. So, you know, with social distancing, we can't go and see our parents, we can't see our loved ones. We have to connect with a computer screen. It's the weirdest time ever. So I'm not happy to be living life this way, and it's bringing up stuff, you know, it's bringing things in us, it's bringing up judgments, it's bringing up fear, it's bringing up fear of death, it's bringing up anything. Fear of the unknown is a big one. And having a tool like the Journey in our everyday toolbox means I can spend time, I understand what's going on. And even though I can't change what's going on outside, I can be a still point in the center of the chaos. And what that also means is I'm supporting the people around me, because if there is one person that has the stillness in all the craziness that's going on, we're doing something for everyone. We're doing something for the people around us, for the people in our families. And so if you're listening to this, if you're hearing this, please come and join us. If you haven't done this workshop already, please come and join us. South Africa is this weekend. We've actually postponed Europe to the 19th and 20th of September, because we had quite a few people saying, can't do this weekend, I'm still on holiday. So we've actually pushed it back by 2 weeks. And we've got North America 3rd and 4th of October. Australasia this coming weekend. So it's happening. Come, bring your friend. If there is hardship in your family, please apply for help, ask for help. Brandon's biggest prayer is for everyone to reach this work, to get the access to these tools, so we can lighten the load. We can be healthy. We can be content in our being, even at a time like this. And so I
don't think we need to say much more, because there's so many people posting comments who have done the weekend and just say, I love it, highly recommended. So just pay attention to all the comments that are coming through, and hopefully I'll encourage you that if you haven't done it before, then it really does work. I mean, these people are just testimony. You don't need to just listen to us. Just take it from the people who have experienced this work for themselves.
And if you have any questions at all, use Facebook or use the membership platform, or Claire@thejourney.com or Gabby@thejourney.com. Just shout the questions, and we do whatever we can to help and support. But we really, really hope you make it, and you come to the Journey Intensive, and that we can welcome you there. And thank you so much, Claire, for joining and for being here with me today. And big embrace to everyone. Yeah. Lots of love, huge thank you, and hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.